So this morning, we explored the transformational journeys that these orgs are undertaking to reinvent their business models. In a digital-first world, we saw how companies like Fusible, Sonar, and Adweek have fundamentally changed and really reshaped their businesses through these data-driven strategies. But now we're going to shift the focus from the what side of that transformation to the how side of execution. So this circuit is really designed to provide you with practical, actionable strategies to fuel growth and drive revenue in these transformed businesses. I'm really excited about this panel or about this group of speakers that are coming up next. A really incredible lineup. Quick bios here. Lynn Schlesinger. See, Lynn, I got it. The former Chief Customer Experience Officer at Forbes is going to share how she successfully unified their B2C and B2B operations for more cohesive customer experience and improved revenue operations. Tina Hannigan, the EVP and General Manager at Fusible, is going to provide strategic and tactical blueprints, not only for transforming legacy products into high-value data solutions, but also for evolving your revenue and customer success teams to support this transformation. And as you heard earlier this morning, all self-funded. And finally, Constance Sayers, president of GovExec, is going to reveal how they are creating new recurring revenue streams through strategic acquisitions and AI innovation. So our moderator, Heather, is going to kick things off with a rapid-fire session on high-impact revenue growth tactics for media and event growth. So business transformation sets the vision, revenue acceleration delivers the revenue results. So let's get started. So please welcome back Heather.
All right. So I love rapid fires, by the way. We do these a lot in a thing we used to call Lunch Lab, and now do call it Revenue Lab. But these are 10 high-impact tactics for media growth. The first one is about new targets and KPIs. I always say that quota is a lagging indicator, and when quotas gets hit, it's over, so there's nothing you can do about it. So what kind of new KPIs can you build for your team that are leading and that are important to the business? Because quota is just a number. Is it new business acquisition? Is it retention? Is it wallet share grab? Things like that that help you meet those new or the business targets. Real-time dashboards. I talk about, like, you need to democratize data, and in order to have the transparency, have dashboards that are not only for you as a leader, but for your teams to see how they're doing. And they need to have access to that. It should be what they open up in the morning. It's what they look at before they go to lunch and what they close out during the day with those KPIs. And not only to see how they're doing, but to see how they're doing comparatively next to their immediate team cohort. And if you have other brands in the business, against those cohorts, benchmarking. And then quick win metrics, right? You've got, especially if you have a little bit of a down run and you need to really figure out, like, how are we going to make up for it? What are some quick win metrics that you can work around? New qualified leads that get into the funnel. And it's not just new qualified leads that are in the funnel. It are new qualified leads that are in the funnel that are progressing faster, for example, than average. And then find out what's driving that and then scale. The second one are what I call the top 50 market grab. And this is, if you have a competitive set, everyone does, and you say these 50 accounts are working over with them and not with us, what is your concerted effort to go after that market grab? But not just say, here, salesperson, go after it. It's what's the plan? What's marketing going to do to support it? What's the roadmap? I used to always have my teams do an account roadmap, and that is every single possible decision maker in the organization that could influence the budget spend. It also, if you are going after SAP, Jamie, for example, knows SAP really well. They have like 20 different budgets within that organization, all different industries. And if you have portfolios that target different industries, you want to get all, let's say 5, marketing person, the field person, the events person, and then you create, again, dashboards and structure what I call is a quick close offer. Because you should have data that tells you companies that look like that buy this package fastest. So that's an example. Another one is lookalike segmentation. And this could be either, I have an outlier account or accounts that are in the 6 figures, and they're outliers. Well, they're really actually not outliers. It just means you don't have a concerted effort to get more of those. So what does that outlier market look like? And how do you create, say, okay, here are the other accounts in our database, in our prospect list that look like these outliers. What did those outliers do? Not just what they purchased. What was the purchase path? How did the salesperson have 6 or 7 contacts attached to the deal? Was there in-person visits versus not in-person visits? What was the packaging? What did it look like? What did they start with, and replicate it and make the outlier an actual new viable 6-figure customer segment that you can expand and grow? The fourth one is use your own first-party data. This one actually drives me bananas when I talk to people in media and they talk about first-party data for their audiences and for their advertisers, and they're not using it for themselves. Your prospects are going to your websites all the time. They're looking at articles, they're subscribers, they are looking, it's not just your media kit, but they're doing things that should give you an indication that either there's an upsell opportunity because they're already a customer, so why don't we jump on it and have automation with your CRM marketing in place, or it's a known prospect that you want to grab, and you need to understand if they're coming to your site. The fifth one is the power of sales squads. So sales squads is a concept where, in some businesses this works, some it doesn't. But if you have you have a field marketing role, you have a new business development role, you have a revenue acquisition role, and you have a customer success role, you should squad them up so they are calling on and working against the same account base. That way your field marketing is aligned with what new business development wants to say, who's pushing it into the revenue acquisition team, who is also very aligned with customer success, so that you have a full cycle revenue play and is end to end. That will not only help with the new business acquisition, it'll help tremendously with the retention and expansion. The sixth one is churn mitigation, your 5 red flags. What are the 5 signs of churn? And in media and events, churn is an evil thing. It takes a long time. And you have to look at things like, okay, we got 100K from this account, and 50,000 was media, 50,000 was events. We renewed it, and 40 is media, and 60 is events. Yay, we have the same 100K. No, not yay. You have a problem on the media side. Someone else got that 10K. So it's really important to know what red flags are. And so that's one, like a change in contract structure. Another could be if you're really using data successfully and you're tracking your salesperson's activity levels. You look at when, like, if you have a company, I don't know, I always use Cisco as an example, but when you get a proposal out to Cisco, their average time from proposal to close is 45 days, and all of a sudden there's a proposal sitting in pipeline and it's 60 days, you have a problem. So you have to identify what your unique churn signals are and have a proactive plan to mitigate the churn. And I'll just state this, if you can improve your retention by 5 points and you do nothing else, just think about what it does to revenue. And it doesn't really cost anything. The 7, I kind of touched on this, is net revenue retention. It really is important to understand a logo is not, just because I used to have a salesperson that would come to me and say, yeah, we renewed Rockwell. I say, great, how much? 50,000. I go, we didn't really renew them. You have 25 less than you had before. She's like, no, but we have them. We have the logo. And it was a very hard conversation to convince her, like, that's not good. Just because you closed the deal, that's a terrible outcome. Something happened. Either we did something bad, or we weren't aware of their budget cuts, or you didn't do your job. So this net revenue retention and tracking it across every product, everything should be growing, is something that, and data and analytics can help you with that. I would have dashboards about NRR. The 8 is upsell and cross-sell. So there's so much data that you can use to upsell and cross-sell. There are a lot of people I talk to, a lot of businesses, where they have a media team over here, the event team's over there. They kind of talk to each other, not a lot. The amount of revenue that's being left on the table when you are not looking at the opportunity for cross-sell and upsell across channel, brands, Like it's enormous. Again, think about that. If you have an average deal size of 50K and you could improve your cross-sell and upsell by 10 points, which is not a hard thing to do if you put an effort, what does that mean for the bottom line? The ninth is the expansion part, and this, I really separate upsell and cross-sell from expansion. It's another miss. I touched upon it with SAP example. There are tons of pockets of revenue or budget in these businesses, and it's not just this is the media and the event budget. It is, this is what this account, these are all the markets this account is targeting. Are we capturing, and that we offer, what percent do we have for those top 50 accounts for all these markets, and how are we going to get it if we don't have it? That's expansion. It's getting into other pockets of revenue in the business. And the last one is pricing power. I've talked to companies where they spend all of this money on collecting first-party data, and they are not monetizing it. They're giving it away for free. That is absolutely the wrong play. That is highly valuable data. It can be used in all different ways. And the most simple way is a data wrap, that you charge more for leads that have the first-party data. But the second part is if you're able to map first-party data and those accounts to the advertisers and the exhibitors that you were trying to reach, and you could say, you know what, this is this person here, this audience member is doing all of this stuff, is a really high-quality prospect for us, or customer of ours, right? Because they're doing all this great stuff. For IBM, that is on their top 50 account list. That is highly valuable. But for Oracle, it's not. You know, charge up. Like, have dynamic pricing with leads based on what your advertisers are asking you for. The other one is predictive campaign insights and a recommendation engine, which actually could go into a unified way to give campaign insights. So it's not just enough to give real-time campaign insights to your customers and even a data feed into their CRM. What is the data telling you about what's working? And say, hey, you are doing really well with the fashion market. We have all these new fashion market products. Let's upsell you.